transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed. And I think that would be justice. At what age should you start to see public executions? Well, hold on a second. Don't you agree that more speech, not less speech, is better for a free society? Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact.
Now let's get it all in perspective. For all y'all enjoyment, a song y'all can step with. Y'all appointed me to bring rap justice, but I ain't Pablo. Y'all know it's not yo. Great groups and a whole lot of hydro. Only describe us as soldier survivors. Stay laced in the best, well dressed with finesse in the white tee, looking for white meat.
So if you had a daughter and she was 10 and she got raped when she was going to give birth and she was going to live, would you want her to go through that and carry her raped baby?
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
In the days after the death of George Floyd, conservatives created the George Floyd Challenge on social media, where they took pictures of themselves mocking Floyd's last moments before his death.
And you fool with, swing around like you stupid. King of the town, yeah, I've been that. You know I click clack, where you and your men's at? Through the Smurf, through the wop baseball bat. Rooftop like we bringing 88 back. They shooting.
On April 20th, 1999, I was in my junior year of high school in math class in the middle of what seemingly was a normal day, and my teacher, whose name I don't quite remember, came into class late with a ghostly look on his face. He was a first-year teacher, one of the few black male teachers I think I had all through high school. He was from Colorado, so he had a bit of a Carlton Banks swag, very proper, but friendly, eager to teach, happy to be around kids, just dope overall. And remember, 15, 20 years later, he settled us down and then announced that there had been a shooting at a high school in Colorado, and that our school, way in Illinois, might be dismissed soon. I didn't go to a school where I worried about safety that much. This is the South Chicago suburbs in the 90s, and don't get me wrong, gang violence was definitely a thing, even in the suburbs back then. The gang issues for Chicago in the 90s are way worse than they are now, despite what certain people will tell you. But in my school, at worst, there were a few fights. I might have seen some gang activity once or twice, but it wasn't the wild hundreds. It wasn't O-Block, right? So it was weird to all of us that this shooting was significant enough in a whole state across the country that they were going to cancel school here, or that anything about our school in particular would need to change in the aftermath of the Columbine massacre.
Eerie sight to see so many sort of scenes from an everyday school event. You see kids walking around in gym attire. You see students still working out with their weight belts on, and you see a lot of tears. But the most striking vision here at the school is parents searching around frantically for their children.
Now, understand, gang issues have been relevant to the city of Chicago for decades. I wasn't even allowed to wear a certain color combination since like 5th grade, because even in the suburbs, the gang problem was serious enough for them to pay attention. I had to learn a handshake or two to walk through my neighborhood just to get to school for a short period of time. But I didn't know any serious gangsters, right? I wasn't in the streets like that. And the streets that you would have to be in like that were not near me. But I do vividly remember stories of Yummy Sandiford, Dantrell Davis, and Girl X. Horrifying stories of crime in Chicago in the 90s, but far enough away that I didn't think about it in my daily life. At the same time, it did reflect enough of my world that I understood that I was still somewhat a part of it. But I didn't fear it at school. My high school was pretty decent. It was well mixed at the time, both racially and socioeconomically. There was a handful of rougher kids in the city who went to school, but that was it. I worried more about getting roasted at the lunch table than getting chased home by GDs. But after Columbine, I suddenly